Okay, let's unpack this. We have a fascinating set of sources today, and they tackle a really common modern dilemma, the required business trip.
Right.
But here's the twist. How do you take that mandatory work thing, the long hours, the pressure, and turn it into something genuinely meaningful for your family?
Especially with two small kids in the mix.
Exactly. That beautiful chaos.
That is the ultimate working parent puzzle, isn't it? And it's really the mission of this deep dive. We're looking at excerpts from an account by a traveler named Lunarize, detailing a trip to Miami Beach.
And this trip, it started purely as work for her partner, Josh.
Yeah, he was invited by his clients, Stephen and Charles, from a firm called H&H Leadership Solutions. But it quickly it unfolded into this full family getaway with their kids, Junie and Nova.
So the mission for you listening is to really pull out the insights here. This isn't just about Miami. It's about the mindset, the logistical framework that let them describe this whole experience as deeply, deeply worthwhile.
Despite the exhaustion.
Yeah.
Despite the imperfection.
Yes. We're looking for the roadmap for weaving a little bit of wonder right into the middle of that mandatory grind.
And what's so central here is how they redefine success.
Yeah.
They weren't aiming for a relaxing vacation.
No, not at all.
They were aiming for maximum connection, and that meant leaning into the messiness of it all and spotting the tiny miracles that happen along the way.
Absolutely. But you have to start with the logistics because this whole thing really hinged on some significant initial generosity. It was a 3-day work commitment for Josh, and the sources say his clients at H&H, they actually reserved the family's room at their hotel.
And that one act of thoughtfulness from the client, that was the true game changer. It was the anchor that made the whole logistical leap even possible.
It just frees up so much mental space.
Instantly. When the base camp is taken care of, a parent's mental bandwidth just opens right up.
I can imagine. But for you listening, you might not have clients footing the accommodation bill. So how does this core idea, this connection over relaxation, how does that still apply when the logistics are actively stressing you out and you're paying full price?
That's a critical question. And the key takeaway here isn't the free room. It's the strategic choice of location.
Okay.
Even if you book it yourself, the sources really highlight the value of an immediate, low-stress environment. They were at a place, the Continental, that had this retro charm, but more importantly, it was just one block from the shoreline.
So it's all about reducing friction.
Exactly. It makes those crucial daily rituals possible. The hotel was walkable, steps from the morning light, and, just minutes from little shops and cafes.
Which is huge with small children.
It's a massive psychological win. Turning a stressful hunt for milk or snacks into an easy, quick errand, that changes the whole tone of the day.
And their base camp had to handle the arrival first. I mean, a 6-hour drive south with 2 small kids, that sounds like a trial by fire.
It is, but the account frames the drive with what they called bathroom stop optimism.
I love that phrase.
Right, they were just armed with the essentials, snacks, toys, a good double stroller, and they simply accepted the chaos. And surprisingly, the drive felt, quote, lighter than expected.
It just speaks to managing expectations, choosing to see the journey as part of the adventure itself.
And once they got there, the hotel became a true sanctuary. The sources mentioned the staff treated their kids, Junie and Nova, like tiny VIPs.
Why is that specific detail so important to the mission here?
Because it instantly signals psychological safety to the parents. If the atmosphere is welcoming, if the staff is supportive, the parents feel less pressure to police every single moment. They can just, lean into the joy.
That structural comfort, it must have been foundational, especially since Josh was leaving around 7 a.m. every morning for these long work days. So with the base camp set, that still left the main challenge. How do you build a daily rhythm when one person is gone for 12 hours a day?
They established an immediate, non-negotiable morning ritual. They would load the kids into their stroller and head straight for the shore.
Not just a walk.
No, it was anchoring time.
Yeah.
A guaranteed point of intentional connection before the day pulled Josh away.
And that's where you get those moments of pure, unscripted wonder. The source says the waves would often lull the younger one, Junie, to sleep, while Nova was free to just run ahead, collect shells, chase her shadow.
Just being a kid.
Yes, the account describes it as feeling like the world was made just for them.
And that's the difference between a structured activity and just being together. So while the mornings were about the beach, the afternoons provided a reliable sanctuary. The hotel pool became their second home.
The description of the pool is just lovely. Warm, serene, spacious, the sunlight reflecting off the water like liquid gold. It was predictable, a calm space.
It was about prioritizing stability when everything else felt so transient. But they didn't just get stuck in a routine. They made a really strategic choice for one major excursion that planted a seed of curiosity.
The Philip and Patricia Frost Museum of Science.
Exactly.
And let's focus on that experience because it perfectly shows that shift in priorities. It wasn't about passive entertainment.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The interactive exhibits immediately pulled the kids in. Nova was apparently mesmerized by the aquarium, the stingrays, the jellyfish, and the planetarium was a huge win. This immersive dome where you feel like you're floating in space.
Oh.
And the source connects this right back to the core insight. Kids don't need endless high-cost entertainment.
They just need wonder.
They just need wonder. That museum experience, it plants these little seeds of curiosity, which is so much more valuable than just filling time. It's an investment.
And that same focus on intentionality, it extended to Josh's schedule too. Even with those long work days, he carved out time to meet them for quick lunches.
Yeah, squeezed between responsibilities, as the source puts it.
It's those small, intentional acts of disruption, right? Interrupting the workday to maintain that family connection. That's the thread holding it all together. The evenings were theirs, slow walks, the beach breeze, and of course the hotel room chaos.
I love that phrase.
Me too. And the mantra they seem to live by, we're doing our best, and it's enough.
And if we connect this all back to the client relationship, the sources really highlight that this wasn't just about Josh's family managing the chaos. It was also about how his team, the H&H team, fostered this culture of inclusion.
Which brings us to the dinner.
Yes, the big shared dinner.
The social element. They were invited to dinner by Stephen and Charles, along with their wives, Sandra and Aubrey, at a Brazilian steakhouse.
And the description of the atmosphere is what really matters here. It was elegant, warm, polished, but still incredibly welcoming to the family.
So it didn't feel like a stuffy client dinner?
No, it felt more like a celebration among trusted partners.
Yeah.
And the staff's careful attention was a huge part of that.
The source also makes a point to mention that the focus wasn't just on the meat either.
Right, the market table. It sounds incredible. Fresh mozzarella, roasted veggies, charcuterie, vibrant salads. The sources specifically emphasize there were numerous delicious vegetarian options.
Which speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About the breadth of hospitality, the inclusivity they were showing.
And that feeling of being valued, it went beyond just the meal. The next night, the H&H team planned an evening boat trip.
Which the family skipped. Totally understandable, with kids' bedtimes.
A completely non-negotiable parent decision. But later that night, around 11 p.m., they hear this loud, happy shouting coming from the hotel pool area.
Okay.
And the surprise discovery gives us the ultimate snapshot of their professional culture. Josh and the entire H&H team had come back from their boat trip and decided to jump, fully clothed, into the hotel pool.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting from an organizational perspective. Why is that specific act, jumping in fully clothed, why is that such a profound observation?
It's all about vulnerability and psychological safety. In a professional setting, we build walls. We're polished. To just strip away that professional veneer, even for a moment, and do something chaotic and hilarious, that's a massive signal.
It shows a huge level of trust.
Implicit trust. They aren't worried about being judged or about damaging their professional image in front of each other.
So it's not just goofing off, it's a non-verbal affirmation that they're secure enough together to be playful, to be human.
Exactly. That one moment, that perfect snapshot, it says more about their shared bond and the company's culture than any formal team building exercise ever could. It all links back to connection, doesn't it?
It really does.
Whether it was the connection Josh was nurturing with his family or the connection the H&H team fostered through that shared, uninhibited joy, the whole trip was defined by people showing up as their full, imperfect selves.
So what does this all mean for us? As we head into the conclusion, let's distill the ultimate takeaways from this Miami deep dive. What did Lunar Eyes and the family really take home with them?
Well, they took home the sunshine, the memories, for sure. But more importantly, they took home that unique perspective of seeing a city through their children's eyes and, significantly, the comfort of seeing Josh be genuinely valued and celebrated by his team.
The ultimate lesson here. It seems to be a hard truth wrapped in a beautiful experience. The sources are clear. Traveling with kids is never, ever relaxing.
Never. But it is real, alive, and full of tiny miracles.
And joy isn't about the grand plans or the perfect itinerary.
Not at all. This is where the wisdom lies. Joy showed up in the small, unexpected moments. Waves rocking a stroller to sleep, the warmth of the pool, shared meals with trusting colleagues.
And the middle of the night laughter from a team celebrating life together.
The trip was full, it was imperfect, it was beautiful, and it was, quote, deeply, deeply worthwhile. It completely redefined what a successful work trip could be.
Which raises an important question for you, the listener. We saw how a moment of uninhibited play, that fully clothed pool jump, defined the true camaraderie of the H&H team. If work trips are unavoidable, and they are, what small, unconventional, joyful human connection can you engineer into your next professional obligation?
How can you deepen those relationships, whether it's with your family who's with you or with the colleagues you're traveling alongside?
Find that tiny miracle in the middle of the required chaos. Look for the moments where the professional wall can safely come down.
That's the challenge.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into when work meets wonder.